Mountain Goat Film Company dives deep underwater. Hello everyone and welcome to Beach Corner on Wasaga Beach TV. I'm Diana Chicky. Mountain Goat Film Company is an award-winning film and video production company based in the Collingwood and Blue Mountain area with over 20 years of experience. Currently, the film company is going underwater for a virtual experience for a documentary series starting with the Mary Shipwreck 360 project. Joining me via Skype is filmmaker Tom Stranat. Great to see you again.
Likewise, nice to see you too, Diana.
You are known for some incredible productions, such as Snow People, Behind the Red Carpet, Rockside, to name a few. And this time you are collaborating with Craigleith Heritage Depot on an underwater documentary series, starting with the Mary Ward Shipwreck 360 project. How did you connect with Craigleith Heritage Depot?
Well, we actually we produced 3 different films last year for the Craigleith Heritage Depot. One was on the ski industry, one was on Indigenous history, and one was on the apple industry in the Blue Mountains. So the Craigleith Heritage Depot is essentially Blue Mountains museum, and we've been working with Andrea Wilson, the depot's curator, in producing that series. It was called Real History. And after that, there's a lot of interest and success with those films. And then Andrea approached us with this next project, which is this series of 360 videos.
Can you tell us a little about this documentary?
For sure. So it's we're doing 2. So the first one, we're exploring the shipwreck of the Mary Ward, and this happened in November of 1872. This ship got stranded just off of the North Winds Beach, and the particulars aren't really exact, but there was some commotion, some confusion. Eventually, it was, the winter set in. They couldn't really get a boat out to it. People thought they could stay there for a while. It did end up in some lost lives as a result, but it's a site that's been essentially slowly disappearing. So the Craigleith Heritage Depot wanted to ensure that we can preserve it and capture it. So the idea was to capture it with underwater videography in 360. So we have a diver, and he takes us into the shipwreck, and the audience can then virtually travel going underwater and see this shipwreck. So I myself, I'm not a water person to go underwater or snorkel or anything. A lot of people have explored it. But so it's, I took that same idea with Tracy Stranat and myself that, how do we get people to experience that without having to go underwater? So that's been the essence of the film.
Where did you get the idea of doing an underwater documentary?
Well, it was something that Andrea Wilson spearheaded, and it was an idea that they wanted to capture. It was, whether we just would do a documentary on the shipwreck, or if we could go more, do a little bit more to create this virtual experience. So it stemmed from the idea of documenting the shipwreck, telling that story, but then how could we get the audience to come and explore it with us? So that's where the 360 concept came from. And then, it's a partnership with there's a museum advisory committee, there's the Blue Mountain Watershed Trust that also put some financing, and the Blue Mountain Village Association as well. So it's a multi-partnered concept. And the real point was, how do we get, someone who is, whether they're elderly or really young, or just even, students in schools, people from all around the world, they can then experience this shipwreck without having to come here, and hopefully it will bring people to want to explore it further as well.
Is this your first time to film underwater scenes?
Yeah, this is our first underwater film for sure, and Tracy's a avid SUPer and water person, and so she really guided the process and oversaw that concept. Like I said, I'm not a big water person. I'm more of a snowboard, mountain biking person. But so that was important to have that duality where she's been there before several times, just kayaking out there or SCPing out there. So a lot of people do that venture, but it's hard to find. Even we had the GPS coordinates, and we spent a little bit of time, and we captured a behind the scenes documentary about this as well. But it gets really shallow there, and it used to be out of the water, but with the higher water levels right now in Georgian Bay, it's hidden, so you really don't see it. It used to protrude a little bit more, so it was just finding it can be a challenge too. So this film takes all those problems away, and you can just sit down and watch it.
And I understand Tracy is doing the writing.
That's correct, yes. Yeah, and part of it is because we want to not just take the audience underwater in this 360 experience, but also to tell the story and the history of what happened and how this came to become a shipwreck. And it had a past where the ship had sunk previously. It was brought back, and then on its next voyage, it ends up in this predicament again. So it kind of is a cursed story as well. So and again, there's the panic. People weren't sure what was going on. Fire broke out, and things were just it was a challenge of people didn't know what to do. They're just not that far from shore, but just far enough that they couldn't make it back. Yeah.
What are you hoping to convey with this documentary?
Again, I think the natural. Not a lot of people are aware that we even have a shipwreck right here in the Blue Mountains that's accessible. There's a lot of I think other areas, in Bruce County, where they have the shipwrecks in the Fathom 5 National Park. And there's a lot of well-known diving spots. So I think with this, we're gonna be able to show people, hey, there's a little, there's this it's a smaller shipwreck, but definitely a site of interest, and also to discuss the preservation and trying to preserve it in this film, so for future generations to be able to see. Because as every year passes, water levels are changing. It deteriorates a lot, and eventually there won't be much left, if anything. So that's really the archival process here, is how do we capture it for the museum so it can be seen 100 years from now.
When will this film be released?
The film will be released in March 2019. So it's not too far from now, but there'll be a whole. I know the depot, that Craigleith Heritage Depot, is setting up a gala event, and there'll be some other screenings as well. And what we're going to have is we'll have the virtual 360 experience where people can put goggles on, and essentially you can wherever you want to look you can see. And we're also going to extract from that a regular HD version that people can just watch as well. So we will have both versions available, and that the depot does make these available. Like our past series are then available for educational purposes. You can take them out from the library, and there's multiple screenings. And we've, even with the past series, we've screened them locally, but then they also end up around Canada in different film festivals and historical festivals and different museum events, library events, and so on. So it really helps to spread local Blue Mountains history across the region, across the country, and hopefully with this one across the world.
This is a documentary series beginning with the Mary Ward shipwreck. What other areas will you be exploring?
So the second film that we're doing in this series right now is we're doing one to look at Indigenous history of an area called the Pathway to the Village of the Souls. And this is a location that's it's in the Scenic Caves Adventure Park, so just on the Niagara Escarpment. So we were, in our Indigenous history segment, we spoke with, we had an interview with Chief English of the Wendat Nation of Kansas, and they are, original ancestors over 50,000 years ago who came to live here. One of the oldest villages is just above Craigleith area, above the depot, midway between the top of the escarpment and where the depot is. So with with talking to Chief English, she mentioned how she had experienced that walk at Scenic Caves, many years ago, and she said it was transformational in terms of being able to walk where her ancestors had walked. So we're also doing a 360 video about that and that walk and that pathway as well. So we're just actually filming yesterday at Scenic Cave. So it's just on September 12th to put a date to it. So we just wrapped the principal of that shoot as well. And that too will be released in March.
So where can we find more information?
There will be, the BMFA, the Blue Mountain Foundation of the Arts, is having a screening of our original, the first 3 films called Real History on September 28th at the Simcoe Street Theatre. And at that time, we'll have a trailer prepared for these 2 films, a teaser trailer to start to show people what these 2 films are about. So, and at that point, we'll have be able to release the trailer as well. So definitely, whether social media, the Craigleith Heritage Depot, they'll post stuff on their social media, and also our Mountain Goat Film social media will have information. And please, if people can come to the BMFA event on September 28th at 7:30 p.m. Simcoe Street Theatre, they'll be treated to seeing the first Real History films, and also this trailer for the next 2.
And how about Mountain Goat Film Company? Where can we go?
They can go to www.mgfc.ca.
Thank you, Tom, for being my guest, and wishing you all the best of success with your Underwater Documentary 360 project series.
Thank you, Diana. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for watching. For more exclusive interviews with your favorite celebrities, check out Beach Corner on Wasaga Beach TV. I leave you with a clip from the Real History trailer showcasing 3 local documentary shorts, which will be presented by Mountain Goat Films and BMFA on September the 28th at the Collingwood Simcoe Street Theatre. Bye-bye, everyone.
Definitely more use of computer technology to help with your crop.
When we work on pieces of land, we may encounter any of that 12,000-year archaeological record.
Essentially snowboarding save skiing. All you could do on a ski was literally turn left and right.